Alright guys, welcome back to the up and down matches. See that Code S medallion there? Only 2 will take that home tonight.
Ooh. Wasn't there only one of them though? Or
Well,
they can take it home together?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they like touch it together, like in the end of the 4th Harry Potter film, where they're like together and they grab the Triwizard Top. The Code S medallion's actually a port key.
Alright, which one's gonna die on the ottle side?
I don't know, man. I don't want to think about it. So,
wow, everyone on the right is getting wins.
yeah, that's something you and I were talking about during the break. Everyone on the left is losing. So if the trend continues, ASD is gonna win against anypro in this next map.
Yeah, there's a 100% chance that he's gonna win, based on our statistics so far.
Yeah.
If you like going for false statistics there. All right, so our next map is going to be, or our next match is going to be anypro versus ASD on the next map of Xel'Naga Fortress again.
Based on how things have been going, I think that ASD is probably favored to win this one, in fact.
Yeah, you did have a really solid build against Tastar that you used earlier on this exact same map in the exact same matchup. So we'll see if he does try to do the exact same thing or if he's trying to vary it up a little bit because, as you were saying, these players that aren't playing are going to be watching these games to know what their opponents are going to be doing, or at least know what is on their forefront of their minds.
This map isn't very large. The rush distance is about medium. It's like the same amount of rush distance we saw in Metalopolis last game. So we could see a timing attack from ASD. I don't think that's what we're going to see against anypro, but we've seen anypro can play in the late game pretty well.
Well, not that last game.
Well, it was there was some weird, funky things that happened, but other than that, I mean, his late game was good. He just needed to add a few more units into his mix. He needed to be a little bit more aggressive at different times. So I think this will be a closer game, but I think ASD definitely favored to take this one. He's up 2-0. Can anypro come back, or is he going to go 0-3? Let's find out here at the up and down matches. All right, down here at the bottom left, member of the Team Prime. This guy is in a lot of trouble if he doesn't win this match. It's probably impossible. Actually, it is impossible. He is. Very important match for this guy. Even if he does win, he might not be able to make it. So he's got to absolutely win this game. His opponent over here, already 2-0. He's in a pretty good position. If he wins this, he'll guarantee himself a Code S spot. He is.
ASD Poyu.
Looking a lot less nervous than before, very focused on this game. His headphones are not the red color though, so he's playing it a little calmer.
Yep.
For anyone that is just tuning in and hasn't seen too much about the Razer products, those headsets actually change color depending on the APM that the player is playing at, red being the highest APM of the standard settings. So when you see the game starting, you can actually see like who's spamming early on to keep their fingers warm and who's just kind of playing it.
Yeah,
cool
it's cool from a spectator standpoint. I actually use the Spectre mouse, the Razer Spectre mouse back at the GOM house, and I like that mouse, but I never am actually able to look at it and go, oh man, my APM is slacking. But it's cool from a spectator standpoint, absolutely. It's really awesome.
It's also cool to see that these pro gaming peripheral companies are actually tailoring a lot of their products to the fans of specific games.
That's really awesome. I think that's great for StarCraft, great for other games as well as it becomes more popular.
Your APM of Counter-Strike camping in a corner is
It's like, if you go into camping, it like goes, it like turns blue or something. It's like, oh, I know he's camping.
So you actually built the Spidey boat with the front SCV, locking the back SCV that was chasing the probe away. Slight little mistake there.
Hiccup there, yeah. anypro did scout no gas though, so he knows this is going to be a 1 barracks expand. He's taking his second gas. I don't know, in this situation, anypro might be extremely tempted to do some sort of timing attack. He might go for Blink. He might go for a Void Ray all in, but last time I said he was going to do it, he didn't. But he might just try to play a longer game. He has taken his second gas. We're going to see what he does here.
But it does get scouted. So, although that last pylon didn't get scouted, I don't believe.
He hasn't seen the third pylon. Very true. Second pylon, excuse me.
Yeah. So as a Terran player, you always want to see those first two pylons.
Yeah, and if you can get away with it, you want to see a third one. You should always know there's going to be 3 pylons. You want to know if you go in there and you only see 2, it might mean there's something being hidden.
Yep. But if you do see the 3, then there's really not enough money for the Protoss player to build a 4th pylon to then hide some buildings and then attack you with some sort of early attack. It's just very difficult for the Protoss player to do.
There is a good tip though, guys. If you go in at that timing, you see only 2 pylons and there should be a third one, you know he's proxying something and it does tip you off and you need to check for that. Twilight Council going down here for anypro. I think we might see a blink timing attack. We've seen Tastar do it on this very map against a 1 barracks expanse. Very difficult for the Terran to hold against that attack. We could see Dark Templar though.
And actually we do see this SCV on the top left, or the top part of the map, actually scouting for proxies because he didn't see that second pylon going up. Just trying to be completely safe. However, we do have the expansion finishing and the 3 barracks for the Terran player.
I think he's actually going to go for a Dark Shrine.
Looks like it.
There it is.
Yep.
So going Dark Shrine against a 1 barracks command center can be pretty good. No engineering bay yet for ASD, of course. It's not common to have one at this timing. He's making a second orbital. He's going to have twice the scans, but even so, he doesn't want to use them. It's a very aggressive build to be doing against this type of tech, or it's a very tech-oriented build to do against this aggressive economy style.
But the SCV is actually going to get in here. Oh, there's almost a pylon wall to block it off, but it did get killed.
That was like so silly actually that he did that. It's like, if I were ASD right now, I'd be like, oh, DTs,
yeah.
Duh. Like, why
DTs
is he?
Or
Oh, he lost the Stalker as well. anypro falling apart here. It's like Homer's choking Bart. You know,
going for a Nexus
situations.
now, actually.
Yeah, it's a DT expand build. He's going to make the Nexus no matter what happens. It's just he wants to make sure that he has the DTs out so he can hold any pressure that comes.
And he's going to smartly move up here. There is no sim out quite yet, so he can do a little bit of damage, run away before the shields of these Stalkers are taken out. Really nice move just to get a little bit of a lead.
Right now, there is 1 scan saved up. The Dark Shrine's going to finish in just a second. He's going to warp in 2 DTs. It's all the money he has all the money he has to spend on this at this time. He's going to want to split these up. There is a wall up, so if that depot gets raised, it's going to be difficult for him to come into the main, and the DTs are spotted. Scan goes off. He doesn't have enough for another scan, though. Engineering bay just now starting. It's going to be very difficult for him to do damage in the main. He's going to want to attack these units on the outside. Probably
there is one more scan.
Oh,
it is going to be used as well.
Just barely had enough for that scan. It just finished when that DT was walking forward.
Really nice wall by ASD as well, so even if he couldn't scout it, he could hold it off long enough that he could try to get the counter up or get a little bit more energy for the scan, which is what he's going to need to do right now, but he... Oh, there he goes. Okay.
Just barely enough every time.
And the turret starts. Very unfortunate for anypro.
Yeah, anypro, he put a lot of money into this, and it's just not paying off. He's going to kill some Marines here with this Dark Templar, which is kind of useful. He needs to micro that a little bit better. Target down the Marines. Just 1 shot per Marine.
That's
there he
really
goes,
good
blocking with the Marauder now.
Just try to increase the effectiveness of each one of his units. He is really far behind the supply, 46 to 56. He is also expanding a little bit later, so he needs to just try to squeeze out as much efficiency from every single unit as he can. Ghost Academy coming out here right now. He can actually EMP these DTs later on if he wants to.
The cool thing about this build is until you get that EMP or you get a Raven out or you save up like 3 or 4 scans, you can always hold these little attacks. So even though he's behind on supply, he can be very aggressive with how he techs up. He's making a forge as he adds gateways because he knows I can afford to do this right now because he just can't attack me. I know he went for a 1 barrack expand. His starport is nowhere near being done. He can't attack me unless he scaves a ton of scans, and he's just not willing to do that.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, the DTs are used many times as trying to get in and do economic damage, but the unseen victory for it is actually keeping the Terran player in his base like we were talking about.
Plus, all those scans that he used about 4 scans. That's 270 minerals approximately and lost per scan. So even forcing the scans was a decent trade. 1 scan per DT, that's decent.
Yeah. And kill a few extra Marines and SCVs in there and balance it out.
Yeah. So, well, even though it looks like it's failed by anypro, it looks that way because it's like he didn't win the game with the DTs, but he did some damage. It's okay. He is behind for sure, but it's not like he's lost the game here. It's not like when we saw the when we went for the other DTs and the Banshees came and like, well, that type of game with Tassadar earlier was just like, well, no, you actually just lose now.
A robotics facility finally coming out for anypro. He was able to delay it long enough because he did see that expansion going up, knows that there's not any sort of cloak coming out quite yet. This first DT is actually going to do a really nice job of scouting, forcing another scan. Does get taken out very, very quickly. That's a lot of bio units.
I like that the DT was on hold position, the army was walking by. It's like you just like nonchalantly like slashed the Marine as they were walking by. Another DT coming forward. It's going to force another scan. He could EMP it, but I think he's going to scan. There it goes. So another scan used.
He does have only 4 sentries here. It's gonna be very and 2 of them. All of the sentries get EMP. That's going to be really huge. He's got no force fields going on here at all. However, he does have charge for these Zealots. He is going to be able to warp in a few more units, and he is pulling some pros, so he is going to be able to force us back for a little bit, try to get one more warp in of units, and hopefully be able to defend against this.
I mean, he's going to try his best. I think he may end up holding this just barely, but he's losing a lot of probes. ASD's unit's getting pretty low on hit points, though, and the Zealots do have charge, but that pylon's going to go down. Scan goes off, kills the DT, and from here, he's not going to die, but he's just losing so many probes, it's going to be impossible to recover, and more reinforcements arrive. He actually may just die on second thought.
But all these Terran units are very, very hurt. They have used a lot of stim, so 1 hit for each of these units. It is possible to take them out quite quickly. Zealots coming in from the side, charging in, melting. But then these Stalkers are getting the hits.
He like scans before the DT even comes in. He's like, no, I know that's a DT. I'm not even worried about it. He saved so many scans to do this attack.
And the issue is that anypro is now at 33 supply. He did lose all of his probes of his natural at that time. He's got 1 DT left. There's not any scans at the moment, but they're going to be coming very soon, and there's a lot of reinforcements coming from ASD. ASD knows that he did the damage that he needs, is going to get up another command center, is going to add on a few more barracks.
anypro is at 33 supply. ASD is at 78 supply.
GG.
Well, I mean, Torch, I wasn't going to say it like that, but yeah, GG. anypro is making an Archon. He does have a Templar Archives, but when you have 2 Zealots, an Archon, and 1 High Templar, and your opponent has just a ton of bio units with stim and combat shields, he's got a 3rd base on the way, it gets kind of difficult to make things work.
Yeah, the thing is that anypro does actually have all the tech here, so if he can hold a little bit, if he can macro back up enough, he does actually have a chance of coming back into this game. It's going to be extremely difficult for him.
If you can macro up enough when you're 20 workers down, your opponent has a 3rd command center finishing up. If ASD accidentally presses the power button on the top of his computer, you can come back.
Or that escape key that you were talking about?
Yeah, that escape key. Now, this attack is going to do essentially nothing. He's going to try his best. The Zealots do have charge. GG.
Star GG. Oh, H.
Yeah, it's the G key and the Fiat key are the same, so that's why you sometimes see that symbol when they just didn't switch their Korean mode to American mode. American mode. My keyboard's in American mode.
So that's going to put anypro at 0-3. It is going to eliminate him from this competition for today, but
that's it. He's fallen down to Code A,
but still Code A. So
still
not too bad. He's going to be in it for next season.
We've seen players fall and come back.
Yep.
Marine King's one of those, and he's fallen, come back, and then has fallen again. We've seen MVP fall.
Come back for second place, and then second place, and then second place.
Marine King's like, oh man, I have to actually go through the up and downs again because there's no way I can get first in the Code A tournament.
He's just so little, he can't carry the trophy home, so he just tries to get second place because it's as far as he really wants to get every time.
It's
a plan.
It's funny because Marine King, he walks around and wears little pink hoodies and stuff, and he seems somewhat effeminate, but it's actually not really like that. And then he has the deepest voice in the world when he talks. It's pretty funny. Marine King's a great guy. He's actually my favorite player.
Yeah, definitely embodies the personality of the Prime clan. anypro also on the Prime team, but Protoss, not Terran. So.
Yeah, anypro. All the Terrans on Prime are very similar.
Yep.
You've got Maka and you've got Polt and Marine King. They're kind of even Hannibal. They're all just very similar in personality. They get along really well. I like the Prime team. It's a very close knit team.
Yes,
you have a lot of teams like that. Like FX Open, for example, is a very close knit team. Then you have teams like TSL that seemed close knit, and then the truth comes out.
Well, that's been exaggerated a little bit.
Yeah, it absolutely has. That's something that you guys don't know because you're not in Korea, but there's a lot of crazy exaggerations about the TSL and the Puma scandal.
It's not really a scandal. It's just
we'll have that chat another day. We have some crazy downtime when someone's keyboard blows up, and we have to have a 10-minute downtime. We'll tell you guys all about it. But anyway,
so anypro's out.
Yeah.
And our next match is going to be Tastar versus Noblesse.
On Crevasse.
On Crevasse.
So far, again, we've got all. I'm looking at our little sheet here. Torch actually circles all the players who win, and all the players on the right side have won so far,
I got a bunch
without
of
exception. And this time we're going to have
Noblesse
on the right side. So if the pattern continues, he will win.
Of course, how can it not? There hasn't been a single example against
I don't know. Tastar's pretty good, man. He hasn't been doing well today, but he's shown some awesome games in the past. He's got Ryung
I
and
think
Kode.
he'll beat anypro because he's on the right against anypro, but he's still on the left right here, so he's going to lose to Noblesse and then beat anypro.
Maybe.
That's how it's going to go.
Well, I mean, so far that's how it's been going.
Yep.
You're like, there's actually no way it could go any other way, Wolf.
No, it's just final.
You want to bet? You want to make a bet?
I do.
I don't want to make a bet.
Yeah. Well.
I don't want to make a bet like on TV because I actually have to be held accountable for it.
I didn't bet that. What do you mean? You don't have proof.
I made a bet with Karan, man, about Lucira. He thought Lucira was going to lose, and he told me if Lucira lost, I would have to wear a Hello Kitty shirt on air, a pink Hello Kitty shirt. But if Bjorn lost, then I would just get 10,000 won. And then after Lucira 3-0'd, Karan was like, I never bet that, and he ran away really fast.
You know betting's illegal in Korea, right?
Well, it wasn't a bet, it was an agreement based on things
All right, change your word. So we do have an agreement here that Noblesse is on the right, and he is going to win this game. He is playing against Tastar, so it's going to be a good game.
It is absolutely going to be a good game.
Win.
It's Crevasse, it's a big map. We could have a CC first versus Nexus first again. Possibly. Could be one of those games.
I don't think that actually served Noblesse that well. He was able to defend, but he did lose a lot of SCVs against anypro. If someone like Tastar is actually able to pull against it.
Remember, guys, Tastar actually took out Noblesse and Kode. Can he do it again at the up and down matches? Let's find out. I am Wolf, and I always do these intros just like this.
Natural.
Yes, you are.
I always throw in random comments.